Zone Beats, boy.
What's up, team? Here you are with Big Boys Boxing. So as per usual, give me a few secs here. I'll get a few things sorted. Let a few people get in here, and we'll get into it. First things first. Some sounds. I'll go and get some invites sent out for y'all regulars. And we'll get into it. So we had a few heavyweight fights over the weekend and a couple of other fights as well worth mentioning. Regulars, I've just sent you out an invite, and let me get this sorted. The first heavyweight dust up I'd like to talk about, or the first couple actually, were Lucas Browne versus Junior Putty and Hemi Ahio versus Conrad Lamb. There's a hangout link in the chat for y'all. Anybody else who'd like to join? But yeah, Hemi Ahio will start with against Conrad Lamb. 6 rounds, went the distance. Hemi looked pretty good. Superior speed, consistent power. He didn't manage to stop Conrad, but from round 4, 5 and 6, Conrad Lamb was so gassed. He'd come out of his corner, then back up to the ropes and pretty much lean on the ropes, and he's a big 435 pound boxing bag for Hemi, really. Yeah, it was a pretty straightforward win for Hemi. Still looked good though. I'd like to see him step up. I think he's actually got another fight scheduled against Junior Lacopo in December. I think that'll be another straightforward walk in the park pretty much. But you know, it is what it is. Lucas Browne against Junior Putty. He stopped him. Pretty straightforward fight again for Lucas. It's like fighting a midget pretty much. Junior Putty shouldn't be a heavyweight. He should be maybe a cruiserweight or even a light heavy. He's only like 5'8", 5'9" or something like that. So Junior Putty was pretty much spoiling the fight. You know, getting close, try and throw overhand right. He did land a couple of punches on Lucas, but a lot of grappling. Not much of an inside game from Junior, which he needed against Lucas Browne. Lucas actually looked pretty good for Lucas Browne. You know, he's at his career best weight. I think he was 243 pounds, even lighter than he was against Shigaev, and he looked a little bit more nimble too. His defense could have been better maybe, but to a degree, I guess, you got to have an opponent that's gonna cause you some trouble to have to warrant having better defense. Okay, the link's not working. Alright, give me a sec here. Let's see if I can suss it out. I'll send it on the other hangouts from Big Boy Boxing. I'll recopy it and see if it works there. Give me a sec, McGregor. Change this hangout profile over. And copy that link again. Give me a sec. God damn it, these tech issues suck. I don't know why it's not working. Okay, I've dropped it for you regulars in the Big Boys Boxing Hangout crew message system. See if it works through there. I'll repaste it in the chat as well, just to see if that'll make any difference. God damn it. There we go, repaste it in the chat. Hopefully that'll work now. We'll see if McGregor Boxing can join us now, otherwise I might have to try and open a different kind of hangout. It's not gonna work. What a bitch. Okay, not working. Alright, I'll try go open a different kind of hangout and see if I can get it to work through there. Bear with me, sorry peeps. This sucks. Yeah, sorry y'all. I'll try and ramble a little bit while I'm getting this sorted. Another heavyweight fight over the weekend. Was a good fight, but I haven't seen it yet, unfortunately. Sergey Kuzmin had a fight against Leron Mitchell. He's an up-and-coming prospect who has one loss. Was expected to be a pretty decent fight, but Sergey Kuzmin stopped him in 6 rounds. So it is what it is. Sergey Kuzmin moves on. I think he's a bit of a sleeper. We're gonna have to keep a bit of an eye on Sergey Kuzmin. He's pretty competitive as an amateur. He's got a good amateur pedigree. So yeah, we'll just see what happens and who he faces next. But he could cause a lot of trouble for a few guys, I think. Yeah, what I'm gonna have to do, I think, is go and set up a simple hangout through the streaming on YouTube to see if I can get it to work. So just give me a few seconds to set up a hangout. What we got here? Quickly simple, that's right, simple Google Hangout. Go live now. Just give me a sec. Nearly there, peeps. Nearly there. Have to give it a title or it won't work. Some of the teething problems of a new channel, eh? It's a bit of a bitch, but we'll get there. Just call it test. So I'm not actually going to use it as live, so I'm using an encoder, so we can just capture the hangout. Let's see if this is going to work now. Hangout opening. Almost there, fellas. Almost there. Copy. Right, links coming. There was a good light heavyweight dust up over the weekend. Dmitry Bivol had a fight against John Pascal. Pretty competitive fight. Most expected Bivol to knock out Pascal, considering Sergey Kovalev knocked him out. But that was a prime Kovalev. It's a bit different to Kovalev nowadays. Right, I've just dropped chat in the regulars hangout there. We'll see if that one works. Hopefully. I'll come back and drop one in the chat as well. Hopefully it's going to work. Alright, it's working.
It's working. We're good.
Sweet as.
I watched that Australian. I watched that Lucas Brown card as well.
Oh, you watched it live, did you?
No live. I watched it.
Oh, it's on Gladrap channel.
That's the channel. Do you know? I couldn't remember the name of it. I've been following it. It's easy now.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of coverage of local events in New Zealand these days. So anything that you can't get live, it looks like they're gonna be posting. A couple of hours after the events. So that's good.
Nice.
There's a link in the chat for anybody else who'd like to join. Hopefully this one's going to work for everybody.
Greetings, what's up?
McGregor Boxing in the house and Double A Boxing in Blunts. Good to have you fellas on, man. How'd you guys enjoy the weekend of boxing?
It's pretty shit, wasn't it?
Are you just saying that because Bivol didn't knock out Pascal?
No, man. Look, you asked me what round I was predicting before the fight, and I said TKO 8 as just like a simple round selection, yeah?
Yeah.
But honestly, my truest belief was it was going to be the same thing that he did to Chilembe. It was a comprehensive shutout. The guy can box. He's not just a power puncher, and people need to get off that power punch thing. He ain't Golovkin.
No.
The man's a boxer, and a good one.
Agreed.
That's why he's my favourite. It has nothing to do with his power. It's all down to his boxing. Like, people are like, oh, it was competitive. How many rounds did you give Pascal? 1, 2?
1, and there was I think it was either the 9th or the 11th. It was a maybe. You could give it to him if you were biased, but yeah, it's damn near a shutout. So I don't know how
11 rounds to 1 or 10 rounds to 2 is as comprehensive as it pretty much gets.
Yeah. I don't know how that judge got 117 and 111. Gave him 3 rounds. How did he manage that? But
because he was on crack.
Must have been, man. Or he's on the payroll or something trying to help his mate out. But yeah, I think it was pretty comprehensive, I thought. So yeah, there's a lot of people apparently saying, oh, Bivol's just a hype job because he didn't knock him out. Well, Alida Alvarez didn't knock him out. Is Alida Alvarez a hype job too? You know?
I thought Bivol looked more convincing in terms of boxing against Pascal than Alvarez did.
Well, there you go. And Alvarez and...
Because I gave Pascal 3 rounds in that fight and he rocked him once. But in this fight, Bivol just dominated.
Yeah. And
there was a couple of moments where Pascal flurried and Bivol eventually just weathered the storm and got back to boxing him again.
Yeah.
Like, in the chat, Boxing Square said if you saw the first 3 rounds, you saw the fight. It was the same, over and over again. And that's true. It may not seem exciting, but at the end of the day, that's what boxing, in its truest form, is meant to be. Is to just pick apart your opponent and win.
Exactly. Yeah. So, anybody that's saying Bivol's a hype job, I think, is a bit delusional, but that's just my opinion.
People like me are hyping him to a certain degree, and I'll be honest, because I do love Bivol. I think Bivol if any of these light heavyweights fight him, they're going to lose. I think he'll beat Beterbiev, he'll just outbox him. I think he'd beat Stevenson, I think he'd stop him. I think he'd just outbox Badu Jack. I think he'd just outbox Wojcik. I think he'd knock out Kovalev, because Kovalev's got Alida Alvarez will probably be the best fight.
Yeah, I was going to get to that. Who do you think's the best fight?
That'd be a great fight. That'd be an amazing boxing match. Both guys can bang, both guys can box.
Yeah. There's that other Russian guy. I think he's Russian. What's his name? They mentioned him on the.
There's a lot of them.
I can't remember his name off the top of my head. It'll come to me sooner or later, but there's another fight there I think might be a pretty decent fight for him as well. But overall,
heavyweight?
I think he's light heavyweight.
Other than Beterbiev.
Beterbiev, that's it, sorry.
He just outboxed Beterbiev.
Yeah, you reckon?
Beterbiev can't box. He's decent, but he's not a great boxer.
He's more.
And he can only come forward. Bivol will just outmove him and then push him back.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Did anybody happen to catch the Sergey Kuzmin versus Laurent Mitchell fight? I wasn't able to find a way to watch that. By the time I thought it was on, the telecast had already passed it, because he was on the Bivol and Pascal undercard, wasn't he?
No, I didn't actually get to see it yet.
I never seen it.
Yeah, hasn't popped up on YouTube or anything yet either. So hopefully it's going to pop up, because I wanted to see that one. I pretty much got what I thought was going to happen. I was picking round 8 stoppage for Kuzmin, but it was round 6, so to be expected. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Sergey Kuzmin simply because he's not the biggest heavyweight around, but he's pretty damn solid, and I think he could give a whole lot of people a lot of trouble. But, you guys got any thoughts on that?
Sergey Kuzmin?
Yeah.
He's good. I'm trying to remember, is Kuzmin the guy who stopped Wilder in the amateurs?
I don't think so.
No, he's the guy who he beat Price, didn't he? He fought Price on the Povetkin undercard.
Was it? I can't fucking remember actually. I know he fought Hrgovic in the amateurs and gave him a good run for his money.
Oh no, Sergey Kuzmin, he stopped Joe Joyce, didn't he?
Joe Joyce, yes, that's who it was.
Yeah, it was Joe Joyce who stopped.
Yeah.
He knocked him clean out.
He was fighting on the AJ undercard. I'm sure he was on.
Yeah, he was against David Price, and David Price gassed him 4 rounds, if I remember.
I'm sure is he due another fight? He's fighting. Was that the fight he had? Laurent Mitchell.
He just fought Mitchell.
Yeah.
WBA Intercontinental.
That's it.
I wonder if he'll pop up on a card. What about him against Hunter on the 22nd of December?
That's what I was getting to. He could be a good
It's a
opponent.
good fight.
Yeah. I did see on Boxing Squared's channel, apparently Joe Joyce's manager seems to think that him and Joyce are going to fight on the Dillian White undercard. But, that only leaves a 3-week gap from him fighting Joe Hanks. If he gets a cut or anything, that's not going to happen. But what do you reckon if that happened? Michael Hunter versus Joe Joyce?
I think Joyce would stop him.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I like Hunter. But, look, Bacoli, I'm not trying to sound like a dick, is terrible. He's fucking terrible.
He is.
And the only reason you can even figure it out yourself is fucking Billy Nelson said he was the best thing in the world. Billy Nelson says you're great, you're shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
He threw the man back in after being injured. Yeah, well, he had a dislocated shoulder. Do you know why he did that? It wasn't down to Martin Bacoli. It was because he needs fucking money. Because he ain't got anything else. Fucking pisses me off.
Mm.
But he beats Martin Bacoli, and then he beats a 41-year-old former KGB fucking Russian mafia member. Like, the chap is done in Ustinov. Ustinov was somehow in the top 15 of the WBA. He shouldn't have been anywhere near the top 100. He spent the entire time trying to grab him by the neck and bring him down to like play bum boys or rent boys in Chelsea. Like, it was fucked up.
Yeah, man. I thought the ref should have warned him a hell of a lot earlier. Man, it wasn't until the 6th round.
I thought he should have been disqualified, man. I thought he should have been disqualified after by the 4th round. You can't keep grabbing someone by the neck and pushing them to the ground.
Yeah, well, Hunter had the right idea though. If he's going to do that, just take a knee. Because if he's going to hit him while he's on his knee, he's going to get disqualified anyway. But
he did hit him while he was on the knee as well.
A couple of times, and the ref didn't really even say anything. So, yeah. One of the judges in that fight was the Italian ref that did the Joshua versus Parker fight. I just noticed.
Is that who that was?
What was that? Sorry, Double A?
The third judge. Is that who that third judge was?
He was one of the judges doing the scoring.
Right.
So
Matchroom USA got a card in Italy next week, and there's less than 12 professional judges in Italy, and they don't actually ref in Italy. Most of them ref in Turkey and stuff. So he's going to pop up on that Matchroom show, guaranteed.
I really got a dislike for that ref. I noticed on the telecast they were talking about him and how the ref was letting the grappling go on maybe a bit too much, and they were talking about how the referee didn't let any grappling go on with the Parker and Joshua fight. So maybe they were conversating before the fight, talking about you got to let them grapple a bit or something, but that wasn't grappling, man. Ustinov was straight out trying to cheat, using his weight on the smaller man. I didn't think it was very good at all. But
let's remember as well that Bacoli was injured. Bacoli should have beat Hunter up. If Bacoli wasn't injured, Bacoli would have beat Hunter. I still think he's a much better boxer than he was when Hunter beat him. 100%.
Fair enough.
I don't know, but he's back training. I don't know when he's going to get a gig though.
Yeah, I guess. Well, we'll see what kind of matchup he gets next. He's probably going to end up taking a fairly easy fight for his first one back after that loss, I imagine. But
they're not going to be able to. He's going to need to be in against a top fighter straight away. They've no Josh Taylor now. They've only got him and Lee McGregor, and they're going to want to put shows on. So they're going to have to put him on with decent competition straight away. That's why he's with them.
What do you reckon? Throw him in there with Big Sexy? Sean Turner. That'd be a half decent fight, I'd think.
Throw who in with Big Sexy?
Martin Bacoli.
No, Bacoli will just knock him out because Turner can't fucking move.
You reckon? He's pretty
You put
durable.
a moving target in front of... No, you put a moving target who can use a jab against Bacoli and he loses. You put someone in there who can't fucking move, Bacoli wins.
Okay, well, what do you reckon's a decent fight that will give him some credibility, on British level at least, but not too easy?
Allen, because I think Allen could knock him out.
Him versus Allen. They could make that fight. They could make that for the money Dave Allen's getting. Like Dave Allen would fight on Channel 5 for that kind of money.
Yeah, that's a good fight. Maybe put it...
Because they've backed him. Like, they put money into him. Cyclones put money into him.
Alright, Jono.
Dan Mack, how are you, brother?
I'm good, mate.
Good to have you on.
Good evening, gentlemen, McGregor and Davoy.
Evening, Dad.
Evening, man.
It's just good. I was just actually listening there for a bit, and it's just good coming on to a channel where people are actually talking about boxing.
Yeah, we
You know what I mean?
we like to keep it boxing. We do a little bit of politics now and then, but yeah.
Aye, well, politics in relation to a fight happening and not happening is reasonable, but it kind of sways off into other stuff. Then it's not very interesting for me.
Fair enough. We better get your quick opinion on the Hunter versus Ustinov fight. You catch that one, mate?
I can give you an opinion, but it's an opinion based on drinking a fucking raspberry gin that was 43%.
It'll be a heavy
So
one.
it was pretty fucking bloated, like mixing it with tonic and fucking in about raspberries and everything, man. Unreal. What a mess. Yeah, it was. To me, it was shocking. The Ustinov looked completely out of shape, and Hunter thoroughly deserved to win. But I can't really say too much about it because I was steaming. So, you know, I was just watching it away, and I was talking and whatnot as well, so I wasn't getting my full attention. I never stayed up. I obviously was smashed. I never seen anything in the American card at all, you know what I mean? So I've missed quite a bit, but I have been listening to guys chat on YouTube about the fights that happened and whatnot, and all of them seem pretty on the same page as to how they how they saw the fight as well. Yeah, it's just been a long day for myself, man. I'm just back for a CrossFit class, fucking hungover to death, man.
All good. If you haven't managed to catch the Kiwi fights that were over on the weekend, the Lucas Brown, Junior Pati and Hemi Ahio versus Conrad Lamb, they're up on YouTube for anybody else who wants to catch those fights. You can find them on the Glad Rap channel. There's also quite a few interviews with a few of the fighters from that card as well. Even post-fight, I see Lucas Brown has actually called out both Joseph Parker and Junior Fa. So I wouldn't mind seeing either of those fights, but personally I don't know if he should fight Junior Fa or if he wants the Joseph Parker fight, because I think Junior Fa would beat him, to be honest. You guys got any opinion on who may win a Fa versus Lucas Brown fight?
Brown.
I would fancy Fa, to be honest with you. Brown looked shocked to me when he fought Dillian White. Apparently got knocked out from Chisora sparring as well. In the lead up to that fight with Dillian White. I never saw his fight yesterday. Was it yesterday he fought?
Yeah, Saturday New Zealand. It would have been yesterday your time.
Yeah. I never saw the fight, but I would imagine Junior Fa. I mean, he's been in camp with Wilder, and he looks like a guy that's been taking his boxing seriously over the past 12 months, and he's in a lot better shape than what he used to be, and he's a lot younger as well, and he's beaten Parker a couple of times in the amateurs, so he's got a wee bit of pedigree at amateur level, certainly. I don't know where he'll go with the pros. He's not really fought anybody who we can sit back and judge and say he's going to go to X destination, but I would expect him to beat Lucas Brown at this stage of Brown's career.
Fair enough. You wanted to get on that double A?
Brown. I want to see that fight next. That's the fight I wanted to see. I know this sounds. I quite like Lucas Brown.
Yeah.
I've always kind of followed him. I've never really, even when he won the world title, I was pleased with him, but I've never expected him to be anything. But I'd like to see that fight. I'd back him to win it.
Yeah. Well,
his conditioning's getting better. People keep saying, but you're no losing weight. But you see, when he fought against White, he was a bit over the weight he should have been, but it was his actual conditioning. He was saying he hadn't actually been in a gym. He was just running, leaving his house in the morning, doing runs. He said he never had a proper boxing gym. He had to travel to get a proper boxing gym, but he seems to be based near a gym now. He's got a couple of new sponsors as well. Rich Energy, which is an energy drink as well. They sponsor somebody I know, a Scottish boxer. He promotes him as well. So they must be paying for him to have good gym access all the time, and he seems to be doing a lot of conditioning work, a lot. So
yeah, well, he was his career lightest weight, lighter than he was against Shigaev, and I thought he was actually moving fairly well. I mean, it's pretty hard to tell to a degree because his opponent wasn't exactly up to par. But you want to jump on that, McGregor?
Jump on what?
Brown versus Fa, or just Brown in his fight that he had over the weekend?
Well, a good stoppage, 5th round, I think. Uppercut against Patty, yeah. I'm not too sure. I think it was a career lightest for Lucas Brown this week. Does anyone know? Because he came in good condition.
Yeah,
Fairly good condition.
He's conditioned. He never really had any conditioning work. I think he only used to train seriously for a couple of weeks. He said wherever he lived, he used to travel to Sydney and to a gym.
Look, he had abs. He had abs.
But he wasn't travelling. He wasn't training proper all the time. I think he's taking it serious now. So you need to be conditioned. You can have muscle, but if you've got no conditioning work, you need core strength more than anything. Strength. There's a difference between being strong and having strength.
Yeah, I think he's actually still at the same gym. I can't remember the name of the place off the top of my head, but he's got a new boxing coach. He's got a new strength and conditioning coach, and like you say, some of the sponsors have been helping him out with the right supplements and whatnot. So I think he's looking better than he was. His frame of mind seems better. Just to note, for this fight, he was 241 3/4 pounds.
That's close to a career lowest, at least.
It is his next lowest was 248.5 against Shigaev. So
that says no. But in terms of the fight with Junior Fa, just so people don't go overhype and are thinking about Lucas Brown right now, Brown beat Junior Patti in his last fight. Fair play to him. That was Junior Fa's fourth opponent, I think.
Yep, and he went the distance, didn't he?
Yeah, that doesn't matter. Distance doesn't matter to me, or knockouts don't matter to me. Brown isn't a boxer. He's a puncher. Fa can box. Fa has amateur pedigree. Brown doesn't. Personally, anybody who thinks Lucas Brown would actually beat Fa, it's a puncher's chance. He's not going to outbox him. He's not going to outwork him. It would be a punch. That's the only chance he would have, because he can't knock out nearly anybody. He's got a banger's chance. Yeah. But realistically, Fa would school him and either stop him late or beat him on decision.
Yep, I can agree with that. I guess to a degree, because at the moment Junior Fa has a higher ranking than Joseph Parker, it makes sense to take Fa on rather than Parker. But I guess when you're looking at credibility, I guess Parker's a bit better known worldwide, regardless of the ranking. So,
well, another reason Fa would make more sense than Parker is because Fa hasn't looked amazing as of late, and even though Joseph Parker's lost to Joshua and White, he nearly won one of those fights, and the other one he did lose kind of comprehensively. But at the same point, they're elite level fighters. Elite. That's Joseph Parker's in the top 10, whether he's ranked or not. He's still considered by many to be a top 10, top 11 heavyweight.
Yeah. And realistically, at elite level, who is Lucas Brown fought? You know, he's fought
Shigaev and Dillian White.
And that's it. So.
And even then, it was a faded, no longer elite Shigaev.
Agreed.
Terrible fight, wasn't it? That was terrible.
Oh, it was fantastic. Did you not see that one of those rounds where Shigaev was getting the upper hand and they took the clock off on the TV at 30 seconds and the round went on for an extra 1 minute and 10 seconds?
Yeah, knock him out before we ring the bell. It's funny shit. There wasn't a timeout on that round either, so there's no getting around that bit of cheating.
But yeah. Parker v Brown's a fight that I've always wanted to see. Going back a couple of years, man, I've always wanted to see that fight just because of the Australia v New Zealand aspects and kind of a rivalry there, you know. So it would certainly be a good fight, but I would expect Joseph Parker to absolutely destroy him. With Junior Fa, I don't know a lot about Junior Fa, John. I don't know what he's like as a guy. Every time I've seen him interviewed, he comes across really similar to Joseph Parker, really eloquent, nice spoken, really nice guy. Do you think he's got the killer instinct to make it at the top end of the heavyweight division?
It's the same with Parker and Fa, really, isn't it? Have they got enough mongrel in them to get angry enough to be that mean if the going gets rough? I have my questions, you know. When Junior Fa fought Fred Latham, and you know, took him out in the first round with absolute beast mode, and then we've never seen it again since. It's like, what does anyone have to do to push that beast mode button for these boys? The temperament of them, they just seem too nice, eh? I don't know, man. I guess the future's going to tell us. But Junior Fa in particular, he used to be trained by a kickboxing coach called Lolo, who's a legend over here, pretty much. But now he's got Doug Viney, who used to be a boxer and a kickboxer, and his nickname's Doug Vicious Viney, and he's kind of trying to bring out some of that killer instinct in Junior Fa. I'm sure being in the camp with Wilder may help some with that as well. Junior's got his fight on the 15th on the Parker undercard.
Do you think you can teach that? I don't know, man. Do you think you can teach that though? I mean, Well,
You just got to be.
guys, it's kind of built into their makeup. Do you know what I mean?
Of course, yeah. With most guys who can be vicious, it's built in. But I think a good coach has got to figure out what's going to push the buttons for these guys, what to say in the corners to set them off. I'm sure everybody's got it in them to a degree, but yeah, you got to know what buttons to push to bring out that viciousness. You know, whether it's saying you're going to lose, you have to knock this guy out or whatever. That button's got to be pushed. Maybe it's feed some of these island boys a bit of grog in the corner between rounds or something. You know, I don't know, man, but something's got to be done to get the beast coming out of these boys. It's all fine and dandy being composed as a boxer, but there's a time and a place when the going gets rough. Sometimes you got to get that beast out. But, yeah, we'll see.
Kinky shit.
Kinky shit. Yeah. All right. There was another fight that I'm missing that was over the weekend. I can't remember who it was. Off the top of my head. What fight?
Lebedev?
Lebedev. Yeah. Beating what's his name, Wilson. Yeah. Kind of an expected result for most, I think. Boxed to a decision. Any of you guys got any comments on that fight?
Did what he was supposed to do. Took over when he needed to. Got in and out whenever he wanted to. Comprehensive.
And from what I'm reading, he thinks he might get a shot at Usyk now, but I think that's pretty far-fetched considering...
Yeah, if he's moving up to heavyweight, sure.
Yeah. So, I guess there's going to be a whole lot of vacant belts within the next 12 months, and I think maybe Lebedev might pick one up. Who else do you think might pick one up in the cruiserweight division, lads? Do you maybe Gassiev might pick one up? Glavatsky might pick one up again?
Maybe Dardicus might again. We'll see what happens, because there's the people fighting in the tournament. Breedis might get a hold of one of them.
Yeah, I was going to say Breedis is probably likely to get hold of one.
He better though. He got beat. I watched him. He got his face punched in that last fight.
Who's that? Breedis?
That was disgraceful. That judging was terrible.
Here we go. You and McGregor can bang heads about this one. McGregor actually scored it the same
Nah,
as
man,
the judges.
I'm gonna be honest. When I first watched the fight channel, yeah, I was stoned out of my box. I've watched it since. It was fucking tragic.
Okay.
As it was shocking. I didn't realise as well. Do you know that boy who he fought? That boy who he fought.
He's had a hard time with a couple of decisions, hasn't he?
That boy he fought, actually, his dad was a real good boxer, a real good trainer. That boy's been a boxer since he was knee-high a grasshopper. Like, he's lived his full life to be world champion and to enter a tournament like that. Imagine getting robbed. That was terrible. Like, he wasn't just a nobody they pulled in. That boy's a name. Like, they actually robbed somebody who's a credible opponent who really should have won that fight.
Yeah, I was pretty disgusted.
Sorry, Double A. You were really fainting at the start. I missed the name of the fighter you were talking about.
I'm just looking.
McKellion.
That's his name. German boy.
Yeah.
Noel Gover. Maris Breedis' his last opponent.
Right. That fight was terrible.
He had a loss to someone else that was close too. I'm just trying to look it up. I can't remember off the top of my head. You might be able to enlighten me there, McGregor. Who was the other guy he lost to? Noel McKellion. No? I'm looking him up.
Sorry, what? I just went to the bathroom. What was asked?
Who was that other guy that Noel McKellion lost to?
Lost to.
Oh, what's his name? He's one of those Polish lads, isn't he? Lordbrek or something like that.
Krzysztof Włodarczyk.
Włodarczyk. I can never pronounce that chap's name.
Yeah, we usually just call him Krzysztof because he's a mouthful.
Oh, he's seasoned though, isn't he?
He is.
He's been around the world. He's got like 50 wins, 50 plus wins, like 55 wins or something.
He's 56, 4-1.
Fucking hell, man.
Yeah.
Klitschko numbers.
Yeah. And he got stopped by someone in the WBSS, didn't he?
Gassiev.
Was it
Gassiev.
I thought it was... oh, yeah, it was Gassiev. That's right. I remember seeing it. That's right. So...
Right, can I ask people this? Can somebody clarify this for me? Did Povetkin fight Ortiz in the amateurs? Or else was it actually a German called Alexander Povetkin?
No, he never fought against Alexander Povetkin. Wasn't it like Pavenkov? And people just see like POV there and then they just go Povetkin?
But that's what I was thinking. But
yeah.
somebody keeps saying it to me and I keep telling them they never.
No, they never fought in the amateurs.
Nah.
What was his name?
See, I heard that as well, man. A couple of channels have put that out there, so I've just assumed that happened. Because you hear things, you just think, oh well, must be the case then.
It was a
you're assuming that people that are putting this out are kind of checking the records just to make sure they're 100%. But obviously, if there's a similarity of surname, you know, sometimes when you're looking for something, your eye tricks you.
Yeah. I saw an article today from Eddie Hearn on Boxing Scene talking about wanting to get Usyk to fight a couple of opponents before possibly fighting Joshua, and it says in the article that Usyk's handlers wouldn't mind him getting his feet wet in heavyweights before he tries to take on Joshua. I don't know whether Alexander Usyk himself was thinking the same sort of thing or not, but I'm just trying to find the article here. Hearn mentioned Ortiz, White, Chisora, Big Baby Miller. Who else did he mention? That might have been just about it. Oh, here we go. Usyk opponents: Miller, White, Chisora, Kalnacki, Ortiz. I'd like him to fight one of those before they fight Anthony Joshua. You guys prefer any of those opponents for Usyk to any?
Who are the opponents again?
He's got Miller, White, Chisora, Kalnacki, and Ortiz are the ones that he's mentioned.
Very first fight. Do you want to know something? I'm not joking. I'd like to see him against Kalnacki.
Yeah, I was pretty much going to say about the same thing, because he's like the smallest, isn't he? Or the shortest, at least.
It's not even that. He throws punches and he comes forward. I mean, at the end of the day, that could be an exciting fight.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how he deals with that pressure, because he's going to keep coming until he gets knocked out, isn't he? And let's be real, I think Usyk will still knock out Kalnacki. That'll be a tough test.
I mean, if you're talking getting his feet wet, Kalnacki. If you're talking giving him a challenge, give him White.
Or Ortiz even? Or is Ortiz maybe too old? And
I'm going to be perfectly honest. That's the one fight I don't want him having a heavyweight.
Southpaw versus Southpaw.
It's not even that. I think Ortiz is the best boxer outside of Tyson Fury at heavyweight, and he does have a serious power. I think he'd be a nightmare for Usyk.
So you agree with Deontay Wilder pretty much then?
What? On that one?
I disagree with that, to be honest with you, McGregor, but your opinion, Nick.
Because Wilder says Ortiz is the second best boxer in the world besides himself.
I said outside of Fury.
Yeah, but you did say he was like second best boxer. So yeah,
second best boxer at heavyweight outside of Tyson Fury. Yeah. I think he's a better boxer than Huey as well. Huey can't box.
Yeah,
Huey's terrible.
To be clear, you're meaning boxer, not overall fighter.
I mean, if you take in power, feet, hand speed, countering, taking away someone's tools, boxing itself.
Yeah.
Luis Ortiz is considerably better than most guys. Like, I mean, he can fight multiple ways, and that's what makes him very tough to beat.
Yeah.
Of active guys, in terms of pure boxing ability, the only person you could name who could maybe give him a fight outside of Tyson Fury is probably, and this will tell you how bad the heavyweight division really is Kubrat Pulev.
Yeah, he's very, how would you put it? He's got a lot of ring IQ, but doesn't have a lot of tools. He knows what to do, when to do it, I guess.
Exactly. I mean, there are other guys who have a lot of tools, but they don't have any ring IQ.
Yeah. Interesting.
I kind of agree with what you're saying, McGregor, but I also disagree as well. I think
give me a fighter.
Povetkin.
Okay. Can fight one way.
But he's backed it up in his career through the amateurs right the way through the professionals. He's only ever lost.
I'm not talking about being a better fighter or being accomplished. I'm talking about your skill.
Boxing skill with ring IQ.
You see, Povetkin's resume.
Yeah, but if you just allow me to finish for one moment, if you were making this argument about Luis Ortiz and you were saying 5-10 years ago, then I could easily subscribe to that. But not this current version of Luis Ortiz. I sat and watched him against Malik Scott. I know Malik Scott was on the back foot, and I know it's difficult to look good against these guys when they're basically on the run for 12 rounds. But I thought he looked shot in that fight. He shot his load. I think was it a 7 for 8 round against Wilder. I can't remember, but he went all in there once he hurt Wilder, and basically nothing happened in that fight for the first 5 rounds. So basically, in my opinion, Ortiz had about a round or two a high intensity boxing in him, and I just think somebody like Usyk would run rings around him, if I'm being brutally honest, because ultimately this is where it's all going. This is what we're talking about. Who should Usyk fight? And in my opinion, it has been really presumptuous in this part. I personally believe, and it's not based on any evidence, but I think Usyk already is an elite heavyweight, even though he's not even fought at the weight class yet. I think the only guys that can beat him are the guys that are currently holding the belts, and a certain Mr. Tyson Fury. Out with that, in my opinion, I would make Povetkin. I'd make Usyk the favourite to beat all of these guys. Some of them will cause him trouble for different reasons. I don't think that will be easy fights. I don't think you can fight somebody like Dillian White and expect it to be easy. But he is limited. He's got a lot of heart, and that might carry White quite far in that fight. But I would fully expect Usyk to beat him, if I'm being brutally honest. But that's just an opinion, and it's based on no substance at all, because we've yet to see Usyk fight at heavyweight.
It's all good, man. We're all about opinions here and talking about it, so keep them coming. You got anything to add?
That's fair enough, by the way.
Yep. Any more to add there, McGregor?
It's fair enough. What I will say is, I just want to ask you guys a question, and it's very simple. If you were watching a boxing match and a guy were to get punched in the face 30 times, yeah, without answering, would you stop the fight if you're a referee?
Probably. Myself. Probably.
This is one of these questions where there's a catch, but yes, I would.
Okay. Did Luis Ortiz not punch Deontay Wilder, who's considered one of these people that you said would possibly be Usyk? Did he not punch him in the face 30 times, and Wilder was essentially stopped on his feet before the final bell and the referee allowed it to continue?
If the fight was in the UK or anywhere else, it probably would have been stopped. And that's an arguing point people have been going on with around social media ever since the fight happened. But,
I mean, there wasn't a lot going on in that fight, but Ortiz was giving away a reach advantage, a height advantage, and he was still outboxing Wilder. He was still getting the jabs in quicker. He was still outlanding him 2-1 for the majority of the fight. And if it wasn't for the 2 knockdowns during the fight, and eventually the fight being stopped because he gassed, he would have won.
Yeah, can agree with that.
Now, to Povetkin, I really do want to explain this. Povetkin has proven it, but Povetkin also, his resume is pretty dead as a heavyweight resume. His best win is arguably Marco Huck, which says a lot. I mean, he beat Shagayev, who wasn't amazing. He beat Mike Perez, who, let's face it, was never a great pro and a big issue himself. And maybe his best performance was the performance Anthony Joshua.
I liked the performance against Takam. I thought that was a real awesome fight to watch. But
Takam got knocked out by Chisora, who let him beat him up for the 8 rounds.
yeah, well, Takam isn't exactly elite. I call him a gatekeeper pretty much, but a good level gatekeeper.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the fight
Yeah,
itself.
and this isn't. I'm not going off at Damac, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's just I personally think Luis Ortiz is a very dangerous fighter for anybody. I think he's a fantastic fighter.
Yep. I kind of
And I don't
agree with both of you to a degree on certain points that you're bringing up, but
I mean, both Povetkin and Ortiz are dangerous to Usyk. Everyone else outside of the champions, I think he beats. I think those two guys could beat him.
fair enough. Double A, who would you like to see Usyk fight out of those fighters we mentioned?
None of them.
None of them.
I want to see him fight AJ.
Straight
That's
into
what I
it.
want. Straight in. The whole point is the WBO. The WBO made that opportunity available, making AJ a super champion, and then they actually said we'll make Povetkin mandatory for the WBO, but then they never called a WBO. So before they call that, Usyk will get the chance. So I reckon he's going to take it. If he doesn't take that, what happens? AJ could end up. What happens if Fury beats Wilder and they have a 2-match fight? They've got 2 fights, and then AJ fights against White, and then he gets tied up for 2 fights against the winner of the Fury Wilder. Like, Usyk needs to be looking and thinking, I need to get in there while the chance is there. You need to get in there while you've got the chance, or else people are tied up for 2 fights, and then somebody else calls a Mando, and before you know it, the WBO, you're overlooked.
Yeah. I am hearing around...
Sorry about my abrupt exit there. My phone ran out of battery.
It's all good.
It's fucking poor drains my battery on my phone there, so
Man,
got it on charge again. So
I'm having tech issues as well. Getting these streams up and running, so it's nothing new at the moment. Starting up this new channel's got a few teething problems. But anyways, I was going to get to Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. There's a bit of chatter going on around. But I'd like to bring up a few things that I've been hearing about the mandatories for Anthony Joshua. Apparently, I haven't seen any actual written evidence of it, but apparently the WBO are going to allow a voluntary for the April 21st. And I thought if this was going to happen, the IBF would step in and say, well, if you're not going to order your Mando, we're next in line, we're going to order ours. But it seems they are willing to step back and let a voluntary happen as well. I think there's a lot of hope for the governing bodies that the Wilder versus Joshua fight is going to happen. Just with the point that you were saying there, Double A, apparently also, just what I'm hearing, the rematch clause from Tyson Fury that he has might not be an immediate rematch clause. So if he does lose to Wilder, he gets a rematch, but it doesn't have to be straight away, which would open
Right.
which would...
Can you remember when it first came out? I sent you all a clip of Shelley Finkel when he sat doing me a boxing channel in Britain. It's called a mutual rematch clause. It was invented by the Klitschko's. The Klitschko had it against Joshua. Basically, Tyson Fury fights against Wilder. It doesn't matter who wins that fight, the other person's got a rematch. It's activated within a year. So what happens is, Fury beats, say Wilder beats Fury, Wilder can then fight AJ on the 13th of April. But as long as when he fights AJ on the 13th of April, the rematch clause, he'd have to give Tyson Fury something or extend that. So what happened? Wilder could beat Fury, have 2 fights against AJ, and then Fury can activate his rematch clause to fight Wilder. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah, that makes sense to me.
It's a rematch clause that you can activate it within a time length. No, doesn't have to be the next fight. Goes by time, and it's common. It's common with Shelley Finkel. Basically, the Klitschko's invented it, so if one of them lost, the other one could then go and win the title, and if they lost, the brother could get the rematch.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And also, from what we're hearing, it looks like Eddie Hearn's got a deal written up with a rematch clause in it, percentage ready to offer come December 2nd, regardless of the outcome of the Wilder versus Fury fight. So it's looking promising that maybe we might get this unification undisputed fight happen on April 13th. But with all the shenanigans that have gone on over the last year or so, I'm not getting my hopes up too high. Also, Eddie Hearn is talking about trying to leave Shelly Finkel out of the deal. He doesn't want to deal with him. That's not going to work either. So
I've got a clip on that as well, man. Do you know what the Jacobs press conference? Jacobs Derevenchenko press conference.
Yes.
Lou DiBella stood beside Eddie Hearn and they're talking about that fight, and then Coogan turns around and says, so if he's been talking about the Wilder fight, and Lou DiBella turns around and says, no, we're not talking about that till after the first. And Eddie says he doesn't know who to talk to, like he's got too many managers. You know who you deal with. Shelley deals with all Wilder contracts. You can't cut Shelley Finkel out of deal. Like, to even say that's stupid.
Yeah. What is it? Apparently he's got Jay Diaz and Shelley Finkel are the co-managers. Lou DiBella isn't even a contracted promoter, so I don't know why he's saying anything for starters. He's just
because he was at the interview. It was him, but he's an events coordinator who's contracted to whenever Wilder has a fight, and it's in America. So see if they have a rematch clause. When it comes back to America, Lou DiBella organises that event.
Yeah.
That's how Eddie Hearn doesn't Eddie Hearn promotes events in America. When Lou DiBella's there, Lou DiBella's the promoter of the event. He organises the event. That's his job. His job's to find arenas. He has contracts with arenas that people can't get. You can't make a fight. You can't make a fight for Wilder without having Lou DiBella as the event coordinator, because he's contracted, and you can't involve Shelley Finkel.
Well,
it's impossible. So it's stupid for him to say it, to even come out and say, I'm not going to talk to Shelley, but I'm going to try and make the fight, when you have to talk to Shelley to make the fight.
Shitload of roadblocks in the way in there, man. But I guess, depending on what this offer entails regarding percentages and the possible increased value of Wilder if he beats Fury, I don't know, maybe it will happen. I'd like to see it happen on April 13th, but
I think that the Wilder Joshua fight has got to the stage where a third party may have to come in and try and be an in-between between both sides to try and get this over the line.
Mediator.
Yeah, something along the lines. I know when Billy Joe Saunders got the Jacobs fight, they done something like that because Hearn and Warren weren't budging. It was coming to a kind of a deadlock situation, and they came in and helped and got it over the line. So I think it's got to that stage where Finkel and Hearn just don't get on, and it appears that they're letting their personal grief get in the way of getting this deal over the line.
Yeah, trying to turn it into a pissing contest, and it's not going to get anything done.
It's
what if they're not?
It's got really tiresome for me. I'm kind of sick of talking about Joshua Wilder. The fight should have already happened by now. I'm not putting out blame towards anybody, because in my opinion both sides are to blame for the fight not happening. Some people say it's Joshua, other people say it's Wilder. I say it's both of them. But from a Wilder perspective, and you're looking at it through Wilder's point of view, the ideal time to get Joshua would have been October. It's just went past there. The more time Joshua's got to pick up experience and fight decent level of opponents greatly reduces Wilder's prospects of winning that fight. A lot of people are really mixed on this. A lot of guys think that Wilder knocks Joshua out. I'm the other way. I've always believed that Joshua would beat Wilder. But the more experience Joshua's getting, I think it's going to be even more convincing victory, in my opinion. And I think whatever could have been done to try and get that fight made for October past there should have been done, but apparently they weren't happy with the 12.5 million. They'd gone back to the very original offer. Because the fight was meant to be at Cardiff, and to me that would have represented Wilder's best chance of winning. But I don't know. I mean, it's difficult to say. It's just an opinion, I suppose. But I'm kind of sick of going on about Wilder and Joshua. I really hope it does happen in April, but I'm really sceptical about it.
Yeah. You want to get on that, McGregor?
Huh?
You want to get in on this Wilder Joshua? What you think may happen or may not happen with this new deal that's going to be on the table come December 2nd?
I don't care.
Sweet.
I don't care.
Yeah, we've talked it to death pretty much, haven't we? So we can
Look, didn't Mayweather Pacquiao take 5 years out of everybody's life?
There you go. Yeah.
I'll talk about this fight in 2020 when it's realistic to happen in 2021.
Yeah. All right, so McGregor Boxing Stars is going to the Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder fight. Hopefully we're going to get a bit of maybe some footage of the fight or the build up to the fight, or some of your trip or something, man. It'd be cool to get.
I'm planning to go to the weigh-in on the Friday, so hopefully I'll be able to. Hopefully my data will be working so that I can upload. But I'm definitely excited. Definitely excited.
Awesome.
It should be a fantastic fight. I've never been to a lineal heavyweight title fight, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, only a few days till you fly out, so the excitement
Thursday
level will be building. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Going with a few of the lads. Good crack.
Very cool. I don't know if everybody's seen it yet, but my missus has won me tickets, or won myself and her tickets to go to Christchurch for the Parker fight and the Junior Farr fight. So I'll be doing a bit of
Nice.
I'll be doing a bit of a video vlog and whatnot to kind of give everybody the idea of what the experience is like. Thank you very much to the Rock radio station for hooking us up with those tickets and flights and accommodation and shit, so it's going to be fun. I haven't been to Christchurch since those devastating earthquakes a couple of years ago, so it'll be interesting to see what the scenery's like down there. But yeah. Alright, so one other point I'd like to get to, Nathan Gorman versus Daniel Dubois. Frank Warren is saying he's refusing to make that fight, so it looks like it's not going to happen because he wants it to build some more. But I think Nathan Gorman is probably still going to get to fight for a British title because he isn't contracted to Frank Warren. He fights on Frank Warren's shows, but he can turn around and go, well, fuck you, Frank, I'm not going to fight on your shit shows, I'll go and fight for the British title somewhere else.
Oh god.
So I'm hoping Nathan Gorman can get a decent fight for the British title. I'm sure he wants to take that leap, and I'm sure Ricky Haddon will back him all the way. So who do you guys think would be a possibility for the British title against Nathan Gorman? You want to kick off then, McGregor?
Well, technically, Alan won an eliminator, didn't he?
Yeah.
So Alan beat Nick Webb in an eliminator. So Alan is realistic. Technically, whether I like it or not, David Price is realistic. The ball's not realistic because Frank is playing like protector bum boy. Let's see what's realistic. Nick Webb, still technically realistic. Sam Sexton in another eliminator could be realistic because he did lose for a British title, so he's still in that scene. Hughie Fury and Joe Joyce was ordered. Maybe Joe Joyce versus Nathan Gorman is realistic. That'd be a great fight.
I was going to say that.
That's a good shot.
That'd be
I
that'd be the one. That'd be the one for me. I agree with you too. I think Hughie might vacate and go after the EBU. He might be chasing after Caballel next. So,
well, or Wallen, whoever wins that fight.
Okay, so he's chasing after Caballel next.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not trying to downgrade Otto Wallen. He's got good numbers on his resume, but he hasn't beaten anybody, and he's not really that great. Caballel is proven, so
Yep.
You'd fancy Caballel to come through there. Maybe a little bit of an acid test, but I'd say he beats him on points. But Joe Joyce would be the Joe Joyce, Nathan Gorman British title. Nobody complain, would they? Absolutely no one would complain.
I wouldn't. Hell no. That's a damn good fight. So, I think we're pretty much all in agreement on those few mentioned there. How do you
Who
think?
do you think would win that?
Sorry, what was that?
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
Nathan Gorman.
I'm just looking at the BoxRec rankings for British fighters. So we've obviously got Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Dillian White, Derek Chisora. They've got Hughie Fury at number 5.
The British champion, yeah.
Nathan Gorman at number 6. Joe Joyce 7. So depending what the
Where's Dave Allen?
we've got Daniel Dubois at 8, Dave Allen at 9, David Price 10, Gary Cornish 11, Sam Sexton 12. Cash Ali, there's another one that could be a possibility.
Oh, come on.
Come on. Maybe most people
But
don't know who he
realistically,
is.
other
really.
than Cornish and Ali, I named everybody there.
Yeah,
So,
he is 14-0 now, so it's about time he should step up. But yeah, he hasn't really fought anybody.
everybody he's beaten has been 0-14, John. Oh, come on.
Yeah, true that. Who's Alex Dixon?
He's good. He's a big Scouse heavyweight.
He's decent. He is
really
decent.
He's
Okay.
good. He should fight David Price to see who the best Scouse heavyweight is.
He should put Cash Ali and knock him out.
He's a decent boxer, by the way, Dickinson. He is a big lump, don't get me wrong. He's not very stagnant. He will stand in front of you, but he's durable.
There's a few fighters.
He's a Scout Sean Turner, isn't he? Only bigger.
Yep.
Okay, excuse my ignorance. What's a Scouse?
Liverpool.
Someone from Liverpool.
Liverpudlian.
Fair enough. Okay, now I know. Yeah, I'm just looking. There's a few other heavyweights here that I don't know who they are. After Cash Ali, we've got Nick Webb, Alex Dixon, then Mark Bennett, and Fabio Wad. What? Fabio Wadley?
Look, they don't matter. They don't matter.
Okay.
The rest don't matter. They're all like ranked like 500 or something.
Okay.
Right, man, I'm going to have to go, guys. I'm going to have to go get my dog out.
All right, man. Thanks for dropping in. Take it easy,
Maybe
Double A.
Peace. Peace.
Peace out.
All right.
See you later, mate.
So, Dan Mac, how do you?
I was just going to add one wee point, John, about Joe Joyce.
Yeah. Go for it.
I know I've heard a lot of people on YouTube about Joe Joyce, and there've been a lot of critical comments about him. But I think people are weighing out far too much stock on that defeat against Alexander Usyk. Usyk is exceptional. Do you know what I mean? And it's not really fair to sort of say Joe Joyce is shite because Usyk beat him. Usyk's phenomenal.
He's the best
and
boxer on the planet.
Yeah, and a lot of these heavyweights aren't phenomenal. So Joe Joyce has got a good shout against anybody. If he fucking clips somebody, they're in trouble. And I thought he got a raw deal in the Olympics as well. I mean, he, despite that, you're talking about an Olympic silver medalist as well, and a guy with
In my opinion, the real Olympic gold medalist. If I'm being honest.
Yeah. So I'm not saying he's going to be a world beater or a world champion or anything like that, but I just think people are paying far too much stock into the Usyk defeat, and also I think a lot of people. I mean, I love Usyk, man.
He was knocked out though, wasn't he, by Sergey Kozlov? So
Yeah, 1 round. But
but I think he's a decent heavyweight. You know what I mean? He's obviously got flaws and whatnot, But equally, I think people are taking too much stock in doing comparisons between Joe Joyce and Anthony Joshua. Joe Joyce and Anthony Joshua are nothing like each other in terms of their styles. So people are saying like, Usyk beat Joe Joyce, so you'll beat Anthony Joshua. No, it doesn't work that way, man. It doesn't work that way. The only comparison between Joe Joyce and Anthony Joshua is their physical dimensions are similar, and that's about it.
Huge.
Yeah, that's the only comparison you can make.
But Joshua's bigger than Joyce, isn't he? Overall,
I think Joshua's just 6'6" and something, you know, and Joe Joyce is.
I don't mean height. I mean just his build. He's larger.
They weigh about the
Joe
same.
Joyce a big. Yeah, Joe Joyce is a big lad as well, mate. He's got some gas tank.
I stood next to both of them.
Yeah. Joshua's fucking massive, man.
Joshua's arms are the entire size of his ribs. You know what I mean? They cover his entire body.
Yeah.
Joyce's don't. Joyce isn't like the same dimensions overall. They're the same weight, roughly the same height. But I'm pretty much near the same height and weight as both of them. I'm 6'5", I'm 240. I stood next to Joe Joyce, felt nearly the same size as him. Stood next to Joshua, and I felt small.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, I understand what you mean. Joshua seems a lot thicker, particularly in the upper body. So.
Just more robust overall. Like, he's built like a shit brick house, isn't he?
Yeah.
And just this one final point, I'm not saying Usyk can't beat Anthony Joshua. I'm just saying it's an absurd comparison to assume that because Usyk beat Joyce, he beats Joshua. But I think that's a really tough fight to call, man.
Yeah, well, I think
really
a lot of people, when they're making the comparisons with Joyce, they see a lot of stuff in Joyce that other fighters don't have. You know, he doesn't have huge speed. He doesn't have
good feet. He doesn't have
combinations.
An amazing job.
But he's still very solid, and like you were saying, Dan, he definitely could be competitive at elite level if he times it right with possibly a vacant belt or a weaker champion at some stage. There's no reason why he couldn't get a world championship belt at some stage, maybe. But hanging on. Yeah, well, hanging on to it for a reasonable amount of time could be an issue, depending who he has to face. But, you know, if he's matched right, there's no reason I don't think Joe Joyce couldn't become a world champion at some stage. Provided he doesn't leave it too long, because he's getting a bit long in the tooth now, isn't he? So.
Well,
I have a dream for a heavyweight, and it's involving Joe Joyce.
Yeah.
I think Joe Joyce and Jarrell Miller could be the greatest fight heavyweight in years.
That would be entertaining.
Yeah.
And you know, that's why Jarrell Miller ran away from it. He does that from competitive, interesting fights. Fat shit.
Well, there's another reason why there's absolutely no need for Miller to fight Joe Joyce. And that's the biggest issue with Joyce, is he's very dangerous. And he doesn't bring anything.
Yeah. Risk and reward doesn't match up.
I mean, if I'm a 22-1 heavyweight or a 22-0 heavyweight, and someone says, "Oh, go fight this Olympic silver medalist 6-0 guy who's 250 pounds and stands 6'6", I'm gonna tell them to go do one." Well, I go out and make 150k against Thomas Adamek. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. One thing we didn't touch on with you, Dan. It's a possibility that Joe Joyce may end up fighting Michael Hunter on the Dillian Whyte versus Derek Chisora undercard. What do you think of that fight if it happens?
Hunter's on a wee bit of a run now.
Isn't Joyce fighting on the December 1st card?
He is. Joe Hanks.
Seems a quite short turnover.
3 weeks, yeah.
3 weeks.
I just seen on Boxing Squad's news and brief yesterday. Joe Joyce's manager has said that he will fight Michael Hunter on that card if he comes through Joe Hanks without injury.
Doesn't really say much for Joe Hanks, does it?
Looking past him for sure, but I guess that's a manager's job, isn't it? I'm sure Joe Joyce won't be looking past Joe Hanks.
He would be.
I think Joyce would beat Hunter. I think Joyce is not as bad as what a lot of people think. You know what I mean? I think he's a bit better than what he's getting made out to be. And as the moments outlined a moment ago, I certainly think he could be certainly the second tier guys are run for their money. Absolutely 100%. He won't be easy to beat no matter who he fights. Not unless he walks into a massive Wilder right hand. He won't be easy to beat for anybody in the heavyweight division. And even though he was getting schooled off his stick, he was still trying to bomb forward and do his thing, and he was getting outclassed. But it wasn't like he wasn't trying. You know what I mean? He was still full of beans near the end there. He's got some gas tank on him, Joe Joyce. And let's be fair, like Wilder and Joshua, both of them fight in spurts. Both of them like fights at their own pace. Wilder likes to sit back and wait. When you get somebody pressurising you like that can drain their gas tanks as well. So Joshua and Wilder are not without flaws themselves, man. I know they're better than Joe Joyce, but I don't think that I think Joyce has got a chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think he's got a chance. Like he's not like a complete donkey, man. He's an Olympic silver medalist, man. Give the guy a wee bit of credit.
Yep. Right. So now you said that, I'm gonna bring in a bit of a stupid triangle theory. You know.
Oh God.
Because Michael Hunter lost to Alexander Usyk, and possibly made Usyk look the worst he's looked to date. It was a pretty competitive
outside
fight.
of Breedis,
yeah, I'll go with that. So, both of them have fought Usyk. I know Joe Joyce lost him in the pros, in the amateurs, sorry. But I think what you're saying about Joe Joyce, people underrating him, not giving him enough credit, I think a lot of people are doing the same with Michael Hunter. Just because, everybody's saying he's just a blown-up cruiserweight. But for those of you who don't know, he always had a bit of trouble making weight at cruiserweight. So there's a question over how much he was drained at cruiserweight. He seems to be having a good gas tank this far as a heavyweight and seems to be doing quite well. So I think a Joe Joyce versus Michael Hunter fight is going to be actually pretty damn competitive. But
oh yeah.
A lot of people are just saying, oh, Michael Hunter's just a blown-up cruiserweight and he's only beaten bums. So I'm not down with that. Keep an eye on Michael Hunter, and I think it's going to give us a good indication of what possibly...
Michael Hunter has a better resume at heavyweight than Joe Joyce.
That's a good point. Much bigger names. But, how do you think that fight might go, McGregor? Hunter and Joyce.
I think in the beginning, Hunter would be able to maybe nick a couple of rounds. I think he'd be able to get the jab into the body, mix it up a bit, and pretty much run a little bit. But just because of how consistent Joyce is and how much pressure he applies and the power, unlike the other heavyweights, I think he'd be able to eventually wear him out and take him out in the later rounds, probably in round 9 or 10, and stop him by TKO or stoppage.
Yeah. I'm kind of down with that. I think Joyce would probably win the fight. But I think Michael Hunter's going to do a lot.
It depends on how Joyce fights, doesn't it?
Yeah. If Joyce uses
if he
jab
pulls a Lenroy
more,
Thomas, he could just pulverize.
I think Hunter's a little bit more elusive, though.
He had no respect for Lenroy. None.
Yeah. I don't know.
It did show you the difference between Lenroy Thomas and Dave Allen in comparison to Joe Joyce. It was a different level altogether, was it?
Indeed.
Leaps and bounds.
Yeah. Interesting.
Joyce is a tier 1 prospect, isn't he?
Yeah. There was talk also on the
Allen is a tier 1 journeyman.
That's a nice way of putting it. Yeah. It's about right too. I did notice the broadcasters on the Ustinov vs Hunter fight also mentioned possibly Carlos Takam against Michael Hunter on that undercard as well for White Chisora, which isn't a bad fight in itself. I think is probably even more competitive than Joyce versus Hunter. I don't know if I could actually pick a winner. Or Takam v Hunter. What do you guys reckon on that one?
I would go with Takam. Just because he's
Need to stop him.
he's paid. As long as he doesn't do nothing daft like what he did against Chisora and below his load in the first 5 or 6 rounds, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
If he sticks to a sensible game plan, then I think he'll catch up to him. I mean, any of you ever see that fight with Takam and Povetkin?
sure, how could you miss it? Cracker.
That was a cracker of a fight.
Yeah, man.
Cracker of a fight, man.
Yeah, I think the gas tank's going to be the biggest question for Takam if he gets again.
Yeah, he's getting on, is he? What age is he now? About
He must be about 39 now.
yeah. See, look, with these guys at that age, like, one fight, then it's gone, type of thing. You know,
Yeah.
one day they've got it, the next day they've not.
And after being so brutally KO'd against Chisora, could be taking
That
its
was
toll.
just fucking exhaustion.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of similar to how he got knocked out against Povetkin too, wasn't it? He was starting to get gassed and then he got taken out with a big punch and ended up the same result. So, just a bit later in the fight. I don't know. If Hunter could get to round 9, there's a possibility he could do some damage in rounds 10, 11 and 12. Possibly stop Takam, but Takam could stop him in the first half of the fight. I don't know. But I think it's a really good fight. I'd love to see that on the card. We'll definitely
Yeah,
beef
totally.
up
Yes,
the main event.
It's just a pity that Warrington and Frampton are going on the same night, and Dillian White against. I mean, see, to be honest with you, my honest opinion, like White Chisora is pay-per-view. I mean, that's a piss take, man. Come on. It was a cracking first fight. Don't get us wrong. So I'm not criticising the fighters themselves, but I don't think it's a pay-per-view worthy fight. I mean, it's a great Saturday night fight that should be like on normal Sky, and I'm sure they'd still make a good few quid through the gate and whatnot and whatever Sky chipped in. But I think Hearn's ripping the arse out of these pay-per-views now, and both going on at the same night is just, it's not great. And a couple of days before Christmas as well, I think it's going to hurt both of them.
Yeah, I don't think it's a pay-per-view event on its own. But if they put some real good fights on the undercard, I could understand why it would be pay-per-view. Especially with
Like,
demand.
Hunter Joe Joyce would be a fantastic fight on that card.
Yeah. I'm just trying to find out what's confirmed for that card.
I'm not saying it's like a bad card or bad fights or anything like that. I'm putting it all into context. The amount of pay-per-views there's been this year, and the amount of pay-per-views.
Too many.
Yeah, it's too much, man. People are paying like £100 odd for their Sky subscription, and then they're wanting another £20 on top of you, and they're putting pay-per-views on all the time. And now BT are getting in the act. It's just, boxing fans are getting the piss ripped out of them. I'm sick of it. I want the zone in Britain and Ireland as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Appreciate that. I wanted to.
If you basically watch Sky for boxing or BT Sport for boxing, there's not really much point to having a subscription anymore. If you can buy the pay-per-view without the subscription, then it's getting to the point where the subscription's going to suffer. But
Yeah, or else
Look, at
they
the
should
end of the
be like-
day, there was only one or two events technically on Sky Sports this year. Like, they had one major name, that was the Amir Khan shit. Other than that, it's all been pay-per-view. And outside of that, it's pretty much next-gen cards, and like, Dan can like back me up on this. It's pretty much like you get Joe Cordina as a headline fucking act. Like, what is that? You've Joe Cordina, you've got Josh Kelly. Like, don't get me wrong, they're good fighters, but they're prospects. They should be on the undercards of fights.
yeah, and they need to be in extremely competitive fights to warrant them being big events. But at this stage, like you say, they're prospects. They're still not fighting the top guys yet. So, yeah.
Mate, I'm trying to remember. Like, Joe Cordina was the headline of a next-gen card. and it was on Sky Sports. And I'm trying to remember who he fought against. It was in Wales. Sean Dodd, right? That was a headline event, right? And on the undercard, right, Natasha Jones versus Vivian Aubenon, where I can't remember what happened, and Sean McGoldrick versus Dylan McDonough. Dylan McDonough is an Irish boxer who's a 3-0 and had 1 week's notice at bantamweight. You know what I mean? It's stuff like that happens.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm not down with that.
Agreed.
I mean, Gamal Yafoy was on that card, Scott Cardle was on that card, Daniel Yeleniusanov was on that card. And in my opinion, all of them, like Cardle, Gamal Yafoy, Daniel Yeleniusanov, they're bigger names than Joe Cardina. They should be like up there, not fucking Joe Cardina headline. And I don't care if it's in Wales or not. Joe Cardina's your headline event. When you've Gamal Yafoy on the card or you Scott Cardle, come on.
Yeah. Indeed.
And it shows you the two faces, Hearn as well. And I'm not hating on Eddie Hearn, Jono. You know I don't hate on Eddie Hearn. I don't hate. I'll try to be as objective as I can. But in the United States, he's turning around saying pay-per-view's dead. But in the UK, we're getting hit with fucking pay-per-views non-stop.
Mate, I'm gonna tell you something, Dan. There was a newspaper article about 2 months ago with Eddie Hearn, yeah? And this was as he pretty much was making he was pretty much saying Dillian White was going to be on pay-per-view, Bellew's going to be on pay-per-view next against Usyk, right? Now, he said this, and what he was saying is that there's an oversaturation of pay-per-views in the market. Because now BT are doing pay-per-views, and Callum Smith's on pay-per-view, ITV, box office. In my head, I'm going, first of all, you've just said that your fighter shouldn't be on pay-per-view. But the only reason you're saying that is because it's not on Sky Sports. If that fight was on Sky Sports, he would have been plugging it like fuck, right? And he is the sole reason there's an oversaturation of pay-per-view in the British market. Because literally I think it's 92% of all pay-per-views in the last 5 years in England for boxing have been Eddie Hearn.
Yeah.
Dang.
You can't disagree with that at all. And it's just
he's
it's
right.
just
There's an oversaturation.
just,
but if anyone else were to say it, would be okay. But him saying that's the part that sickens me. He's the fucking reason.
Well, there you go.
The thing for me, McGregor, is I don't want to get kind of bracketed into this kind of BBC, Matchroom, BT. I think they're all full of shite. You know what I mean? In their own way. You know what I mean? So I try to like dish out my criticism fair and square. So it just so happens it's Hearn's turn this week to get it in the net. You know what I mean? Obviously, I could have weighed in on Frank Warren with the Dubois and Nathan Gorman, but McGregor kind of covered that.
Yeah. All good. Well, I'm just looking on Twitter at the moment, and I've noticed.
What about Fury Wilder? We'll be making predictions.
Yeah, we can do it again if you like. I'm picking Wilder to stop Fury later in the fight, maybe around 8 or 9, possibly 10, but I'll be screaming at the TV wanting Tyson Fury to win. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think Fury's got a better chance than most are giving him, but we'll see. I think he needed a bit more competitive level fights prior to this one. But we'll see. Where you going, McGregor?
I'm going to be cheering hardcore the entire time I'm there for Tyson. But I think Deontay Wilder beats him on points.
Yeah. Big money
That's
bet,
where
that one.
People are probably gonna say I'm crazy, but I think I'm the only one who's called points from the beginning, and I haven't changed my mind.
Yep.
I think he'll knock him down once or twice, and he'll get probably 2 10-8 rounds in there, and that's effectively a 4-round lead.
Yep. Alright, Dan, let it rip, man.
Well, I'm going to go fanboy and go for Tyson Fury based on no sensible logic at all, other than I want him to win for my own reasons. I really like the guy, and try to be semi-realistic, man. I think Tyson can outbox him, and I actually do think he could pull this off. I really do. I've never rated Wilder, just his boxing ability. Nothing against the guy personally, but I've never rated him, and it's either going to go two ways, in my opinion. I can see where McGregor's coming from, and it's actually well thought out what he's actually said there, when they applied the logic to it with a couple of knockdowns, and you could see Wilder winning in points by that method. But I think it's either going to go one or two ways. Either Fury gets iced, or else he completely embarrasses Deontay Wilder.
That's what he's talking about on social media and whatnot. He wants to absolutely humiliate Deontay Wilder, and I think it's a possibility, but we're not going to know until fight night, I think. So it's a good fight, man. I'm looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it. Seeing if I can.
But I'm going for Fury.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. So there is one more fight we haven't spoken about yet. Nathan Gorman does have a fight on the 22nd of December, the same night as Dillian White. I think he's on that Frampton undercard, isn't he? Against Alex Leopai. So I think he's probably going to at least get some rounds out of Leopai, but I think Leopai's done, to be honest. Might even go the distance yet, but if it's
John, I'm going to have to go, mate.
Okay,
I've
man.
got work in the morning now.
Right.
Nice speaking to you. Nice speaking to you as well, McGregor. Take care, guys.
You too, Dom.
Alright, man. Take it easy. Thanks for dropping in.
Peace, bro.
But yeah, we have this Leopai Gorman fight. I think it's gonna be good for Gorman to get some rounds. Nobody's actually properly KO'd Alex Leopai ever. He's been stopped a couple of times, but not due to being sparked. So, got much of an opinion on how that one's gonna go, McGregor?
Honestly, I'd say it being a TKO.
Yeah.
For Gorman. Referee steps in, stops him from getting beaten up. Gorman's hands are too fast for him, in my opinion.
Yeah, I wonder if Leopai's going to be able to land a couple of good shots and maybe test Gorman's chin to a degree. I think he's going to have problems once he gets inside the jab. Gorman's got a good inside game as well, so pushing shit uphill, I think, for old Leopai. Leopai seems to think that Gorman's jumping in the deep end too fast. He's certainly rating himself anyway, but I think he's 40 or he might be 39 years old and hasn't looked great in his last few performances, so I think
he's getting on there, probably.
Yeah. As it was, he wasn't ready for that Klitschko world title challenge. I don't think he was ever going to be ready for a world title challenge, to be honest, but kudos for him for stepping in there. I think he's going to get a fright when I don't think he knows too much about Gorman, to be honest, if he thinks Gorman's not ready for him, so we'll see. But
it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
But definitely favor Gorman in that.
For sure. Alright, man, we've been on for a while. Everybody's dropping off. It's getting pretty late over there, so I think we'll probably wrap it up there. So thank you very much for joining me once again, McGregor. Everybody, if you haven't already, make sure you go and check out McGregor Boxing Stars. Also go and check out AA Boxing and Blunts. He's got a few good uploads, one in particular recently that's doing very well. I'm not going to tell you about it, you can go and check it out yourself. So thank you everybody also for turning up in the chat. And any final words there, McGregor?
Just if you're watching this in archive, please subscribe to Big Boys Boxing here with Jono for great topical discussions, especially on all different types of weights, most importantly the heavyweight division.
All good. Alright, so that's us. We'll catch you next time. I'll probably be looking to do another stream on Thursday morning New Zealand time, so that'll be Wednesday in the UK and the US. Hopefully we will catch you then. Right, we out. Peace out.
Peace.